asteroid to everyday germs, the parts of the world that can hurt us often operate beyond our control or even prediction. They have given their newborn son into the care of doctors, but even more so, into the care of God. Still, even with this, how does one accept finite disappointment while maintaining infinite hope? Excellent nurses and doctors were working as hard as they could to preserve little Finn's life, and Todd and Liz knew that the infinite God of grace and love cares more about them and their child than they ever could, so they took some comfort there. But when the brokenness of the world hits our human limitations, it strains our emotions, will, and understanding past their abilities. All of us bounce between the illusion that we are in control and the world's demonstration that we are not. Thank God Finn has both survived and flourished as the months and now years have passed. As you can imagine, his baptism and first birthday were great celebrations. But the memories of this frightening and humbling season of life remind Todd and Liz and their friends that the boundaries of our abilities to handle life are closer than we would like. Whether through tragedy or simply as the result of aging, we all are repeatedly reminded that we are fragile and dependent creatures. But it is not just our bodies that face us with these upsetting limits. We also see them in a coworker with greater intellectual gifts than ours, or a fellow athlete who is so much faster, or an aging parent whose waning emotional and psychological stability has threatened the health of our relationship with them. We have far less control of the world and even of ourselves than we would like to imagine. Some people respond by living as passive victims, while others aggressively seize as much control as possible. We know our actions matter, and matter a lot. A doctor who studied hard is usually better than one who simply wanted to pass exams. Parents who want to be thoughtful about rearing children, seeking to avoid mistakes they inherited from their own parents, are better than negligent guardians. Unfortunately, patients still die in surgery under the care of excellent physicians, and earnest parents mistakenly assume they can get it perfectly right, ignorant of their own blind spots, larger cultural factors, and personality differences. What we do matters. We can and do change things. But when we suppose that we can control all our circumstances, we soon find that we can't. We don't say the words, but we live as though the weight of the world were on our own shoulders, and it exhausts us. Behind the patient grin on our faces, we hide a lingering rage about the endless demands that must be met, unrealized dreams, and relational disappointments. The odd thing is that, even when we run into our inevitable limits, we often hang on to the delusion that if we just work harder, if we simply squeeze tighter, if we become more efficient, we can eventually regain control. We imagine we can keep our children safe, our incomes secure, and our bodies whole. When I complain about getting older, my wife sometimes laughs and says to me, "You have two options. Either you are getting older, or you are dead." Denying our finitude cripples us in ways we don't realize. It also distorts our view of God and what Christian spirituality should look like. Finitude is an unavoidable aspect of our creaturely existence. We run into it constantly and in different ways. If we are paying attention, we can see it. It doesn't take a car accident or an unexpected hospital visit for us to discover our limits and dependency. But are we listening? Do we recognize the signs? They're all around us. Far too often our lives testify to the fact that we believe we really can and should do everything. Thomas Merton, drawing on an observation by Douglas Steere, once observed, "There is a pervasive form of contemporary violence to which the idealist most